There are several competing narratives circulating around the Charlie Kirk shooting, and each one is claiming to be accurate, which means that 99% of all of the narratives out there are either false or they're just simply lying. So a YouTuber named Range Day Bro uploaded a video about all this conspiracy theory stuff, and it seems to be pointing evidence that, the FBI is lying, or there's false narrative there. So we're going to pick through this video and see who is lying. Is it the FBI lying? Is he lying? Are other people lying? So let's take a look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false.
So first he's going to show you the same bogus video that everybody else has been showing you about the fake muzzle flash.
And in that video you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
So you're not counting gang violence. Great.
But we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound.
So Range Day Bro is going to try to prove to you that the bullet hit Charlie on the right rear of his head.
Right there. And you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, a split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter coming out of the entry wound.
Exit wound? Are you kidding me? Is this guy for real? Well, he did this for the free engagement because he knew people were going to come after him if he says that. Everybody knows the surgeons got the bullet. There is no exit wound. Those of you who saw the real video of Charlie getting shot and saw the hole here in his neck and it gushed out, that was an entry wound, and the bullet stayed inside his neck. It never went out. No, likely because it hit his vertebrae there, and so that pretty much stopped the bullet afterwards. So I guess this guy is smarter than the FBI. He's smarter than the police. He's going to try to make you think the FBI's lying, every police officer involved is lying, the governor's lying, all the senators are lying, I'm lying, you're lying, the doctors are lying. He's the only one standing up for the truth.
The first arc is kind of down, as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound. And then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward. That fluid then flips up in relation to that motion, so you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air. No one that I know of is talking about this.
Let me see if I understand this. We're supposed to believe that that thin little hairline string is blood that's dripping?
You see, bullet comes in.
I don't see a bullet coming in anywhere.
In that circled area, you have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then the exit wound emerges.
You're also going to find out this guy talks out both sides of his mouth. He'll say something like, the FBI is lying, the official narrative is lying, and then he'll say, I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
What matters is that the official narrative is not true. Again, whether the FBI knows or not that they're lying.
They will say it's 100% conclusive, or it's already been proven, this sort of thing here. And that's the trick that they've used to plant the seed in your brain that this is the truth.
This is 100% conclusive evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the head, and it exited through the front of his throat.
Well, he's still clinging to this nonsense that the bullet actually left Charlie's neck and went out this way, when we all know that it stayed inside him. But let's just take a look at it. So as we look at this picture here, he's going to try to convince us that the bullet came from up here, and it came down to the tent where Charlie's sitting here, and it went through his head and then his neck. So if it went through his neck, it would have had to have killed or maimed somebody else sitting right here. And you can see how unbelievably densely packed it is with people here. Why didn't anybody else get hit by a bullet? Yeah, so there's another reason why his theory is just a lie.
All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right.
What? He's saying the shot came from Charlie's back right? Let's just take a look at where Charlie's back right really is. So Charlie was sitting here in the tent, probably right here, right where this hand icon is, right where it says American Comeback. So he was sitting right in the back of it, sort of like right in front of the backdrop. And so if it came from his back right, it would have had to have come from like over here somewhere. It can't come from the windows of the glass, even though you've seen those muzzle flash morons. And this is the Hall of Flags anyway, which was filled with people. So nobody in there could have made a shot and gotten away with it. And so back here is the little breezeway that leads to the SUVs that they came in. And there's police back there, there's security, and there's also staff members back there. What he's saying contradicts the whole orientation of where Charlie is sitting.
The extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound.
You see, he keeps saying it over and over again. If you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth.
99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly.
So again, he's misquoting overgeneralizations. He's giving us numbers that may make him sound smarter, but he didn't say where did that came from. What sort of testing proved that? What sort of, government publications or documents show that? None. So in reality, folks, look, a bullet can go all the way through your neck and it can stop inside you. It can go like this and do all sorts of crap and tear up your insides. It really comes down to, and this guy should have known it, and he hasn't even stated it yet, it depends upon the angle of entry. It depends on whether it was a hollow tip, soft tip, whatever type of bullet. If it was a heavier one, then chances are it could have gone all the way through, even through the bone too. But in this case, for whatever reason, it just didn't. So remember, a lot of it has to do with the speed of it, how far away the shooter was, the angle. So if it's coming down like this at a little bit of an angle, you have more of a hypotenuse of length that it's traveling through your neck. And then when the bullet finally strikes your vertebrae in the back, depending on where it hits it and what angle and how it hits it, it could be enough to stop the bullet.
But this needs to be seen and talked about because this is going to be suppressed in the algorithm. So make sure you share this with any of your friends, your family members. Save this video, whatever you need to do.
This should be your first sign that somebody is lying, because this is, especially conspiracy people like to do this because they're creating that false sense of urgency. The algorithm's going to suppress it. What they don't want you to know, what the experts don't want you to know, what the FBI doesn't want you to know, and all this stuff. None of these people are looking at him. Nobody cares. His video is going to take off. It will do just fine. And he's doing that just to make you want to share it, watch it all the way through, save it before it disappears. Share my video before it disappears. It's going to get hit by the algorithm.
And I wanted to make sure that wasn't like doctored footage. So I went to one of the original videos that I saw posted the day of Charlie's assassination. And right here I have it paused where you can see that splash that I'm talking about from the entry wound. And you can see it slowed down. This guy in this video is actually talking about the F.
So let me ask you a question. If Range Day Bro was really digging deep, going down rabbit holes, sifting through the nonsense to find the truth for us, why didn't he show you this video, left side right here, which therefore the reason why is because it would discredit his video and there wouldn't be a reason for him to have the video. All right, so we're going to go through frame by frame from this angle. And let me just point something out to you first. I believe this is one of his other security guys, and this appears to be one of those transparent earpiece attachments that they use. And this is where I'm going to show you that I believe Charlie's wearing one of these too. This is his friend and mentor, Frank Turek, standing next to him over here. I'm not going to show you any blood or anything. What I want to show you is the moment the shot rings out, whether there was any entry wound here, and you're going to see there isn't any.
We're not counting gang violence. Great.
Okay, so let's go through it step by step here. Let's try to find out where the impact was when the shot rang out. So we're going through here step by step, frame by frame until we find it. So that right there, you can see his reaction right here. So this is what I believe to be the first frame capturing his reaction of anything from the bullet. So now here, when you look around his ear, I believe that is the wire for his earpiece, and it's often a transparent type wire. Now let's go ahead one more frame. There it is. It's coming up here now behind him. That is certainly not blood splatter like this guy falsely claimed. And also, where's the blood dripping that he was claiming was dripping on the side of Charlie's head? There is no blood there because there was no entry wound here. One more frame. You could see that it was up in the air. You can see it's still right there, still vertical. And now it's right there. It just flung behind his head. And it's kind of going diagonal right there. And keep your eye right there on that spot. You're going to see it disappear on the next frame. See, it moved up and gone already because of the force of the impact. Now, nowhere here is there any type of entry wound. You would have seen an explosive entry wound by now, just like we did from the views from the front, which shows that there was absolutely zero shots hitting Charlie from this side. So anybody that tries to show you a video from the front like that and trying to trick you into thinking the shot came from this side, why didn't they show it from this side? This would have been the side to show you from. Oh, I know why. because there is no shot coming from this side. So if they show you from this side, there goes their video, see? So there goes his thousands of dollars in ad income because there would be no video to make at this point and no merch for him to sell. See? And so there's Charlie just moving out of the way there and going down. So it should be obvious by this point to anybody with an IQ above 40 that there's no way any bullet came from Charlie's right side, behind him on the right, like this guy claims, which is almost impossible because there was nothing back there. There was nobody back there that could have shot him, okay? Didn't come from his front right at all. It was a straight-on shot. The only one that makes sense is this one. And so everything else is just fraud. You know, this is not just me buying what the FBI says. He's going to keep re-showing it and calling it a blood splatter, because if he does, it'll eventually, the subliminal message will set in that it's blood when it really isn't. And now he's going to pull, I think, his best trick yet on you folks of outsmarting you. He is now going to disprove another conspiracy theory here in the Charlie Kirk shooting. And this is going to make him look like he's the truthful guy here because he's standing up for truth, justice, the American way, shoving away these conspiracy theories so that you'll gain his trust and believe what he's telling you.
People are arguing about body armor. You could see Charlie's, his nipples through his shirt, his chest, his breasts through his shirt, but you can see that he has no body armor on right here, okay? This would all be one slick piece of plate. It's already been established there's no body armor, so this is actual proof right here. He slowed this video down perfect. You see the blood right here, dripping out of his head from the entry wound.
So here you can see he just did it again. He keeps showing it over and over and over again and saying it over and over and over again. And I can't believe people are actually falling for this.
And the bullet is coming from here down through here, okay? So irrefutable evidence that he was shot in the back of the head.
So again, another subliminal message there. Irrefutable evidence. Well, guess what? I just refuted it a number of times.
Without doubt, the non-player characters who just buy into the narrative, as well as the thousands and hundreds of thousands of bots, will likely attack me in this video.
By the way, the only bots you're likely to see, if there's any, I doubt there's even going to be any, but they would come in and try to show the comments to try to make more of this conspiracy thing, to kind of give it more like a rolling stone.
Because I'm showing the truth, because I'm showing the truth, because I'm showing the truth, I'm going to ask for you guys to share this video so that this word gets out, so that more people can see the truth of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
So you can see he just keeps on sprinkling around those call to actions all throughout the video. So now we have to address his false claims about the shooter hiding behind this tiny little bush up on a little patio out in front of Charlie Kirk up to his right.
I want to take a look at this photo next. This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it. And he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here.
Well, first of all, it doesn't look suspicious to me, and it doesn't look a thing like a human being holding a gun or anything else. It just looks like a clump of pixels.
And it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding. A hand here, a support hand sort of. This is not just a bush. This is a human skin tone right here. And this correlates with a human head and hair and a rifle in the exact kind of crucifix shape of an AR-15 with an optic on it mounted up. So good on this dude for finding this photo and looking for, like he said, hours of going through photos and videos until he saw this.
So these people don't even have any imagination, because all this is really, folks, it's a Me Too of every other major shooting. So if you remember the Trump shooting last year up in Butler, Pennsylvania, where I showed you, everybody was trying to do the same thing. Let's take this clump of pixels here on top of a grainy video and make it look like a second shooter on top of the water tower. So as you remember in my video last year, I did a whole debunking of this nonsense. However, I did indeed find the second shooter on top of another water tower. There it is, folks, right there. There's your second. See, I have a much clearer shot of the second gunman, ladies and gentlemen, during the Trump shooting.
This would 100% line up with the actual shot that we've now proven was not taken from the front, was taken from the back side of Charlie.
Whoa, did you hear what he just said? We're going to hold him accountable to this, so make sure you remember what he just got done saying here, that the shot did not come from the front, but it came from the back of Charlie.
Now proven was not taken from the front, was taken from the back side of Charlie.
Here is the most incriminating evidence we have so far here against Range Day Bro, because watch what he's about to show you about the trajectory of the bullet in the tent.
This would line up exactly with that bullet trajectory. and the entry and exit wound that we exhibited, that we saw here on camera. So
did you see where he was pointing? He was pointing up and down from the bush to that red and blue tent there, to Charlie's tent there, right? Well, there's just one problem with that, folks. That wasn't Charlie's tent. That was a merchandising tent that's over 100 feet away from Charlie. And if you want more evidence, here it is right here. So I'm going to play this drone video for you. And first of all, look, there's that bush. So it's still there. And this is where Charlie's tent was here. It was this white tent at the bottom of the amphitheater. And here is now that purplish, reddish tent. It's a merchandising tent, I believe, that is now flipped over. But you can see how far apart these guys are. They're approximately 100 feet apart. And as the drone video moves on here, I think it's going to turn around here. You can see, there's that bush that he was talking about. So if you look at this bush right over here, Charlie was sitting just in front of this white background right here at this table under this tent. So you can see, so if the shooter really was this bush, which now we can see conclusively, 100% guaranteed, this is not the shooter. But if Range Day Bro was trying to convince you that this was the shooter, look at the angle here. This is way in front of Charlie because Charlie's here. So it's way out in front of Charlie and it's way out to his right. So that would mean that the shot would have come from way out in front of Charlie, not back behind Charlie to the right like he was claiming. Back behind Charlie to his right would have been right here at this glass, which is where the other people were trying to make it look like there was a muzzle flash, which is really stupid because this is the Hall of Flags that was filled with people anyways. Nobody's going to try to make that very small angled shot like that through glass. Are you kidding me? There's no way that would work. Trying to shoot through any type of glass is going to deform your bullet, and it's not likely to make it to your intended target. So everything that you've heard from other people, whether it would be muzzle flashes, a gunman here or a gunman here, all of this area was crowded with hundreds of people. And none of these people ever said, hey, I heard the shot right behind me. It would have been super loud right here. Instead, the shooter was back over here by about 150 yards. So had the shooter been right behind all of these people, it would have been really, really loud there. And the bullet wasn't really all that loud. Okay, now, so let's look at why this couldn't be the gunman anyway in the first place. So first of all, we've already established there was no exit wound. The doctors have the gun. So any of these guys that are saying there's an exit wound, they're just lying. It's not the FBI that's lying. It's not the police that are lying. It's not the doctors that are lying. It's not friends that were there and talked to the doctors that were lying. It's the person making that video who was lying. If this guy is trying to convince us into thinking that there was a shooter right up here behind this bush, this is what's stupid. Let's zoom in and take a close look at it. The size of this bush barely makes it to the height of the table and bench that's sitting up here, okay? So if you look at the height of this bush, and by the way, this is taken when Charlie, I don't even know if he's there yet, but obviously the crowd's still here, right? So if this guy was a shooter in disguise, why is this picture still there looking like that? Look at the size of this bush and compare it to the size of the people here. You can see it doesn't even come up to their waist. So there's no way some guy with a tall rifle is going to be able to hide himself behind this bush that's barely even 30 inches tall. None of this even makes sense. And even if he did shoot down here at Charlie, which seems like a very steep angle, and I'm not even sure he could see him through the top of the canopy here because of this closeness and the steep angle. And hello, people shooting through glass. Assuming this guy was here and takes a shot, where's he going to run? Where's his escape path? He has to run down these stairs here, where now he's mingling with possibly hundreds of people who are disappearing at the same time, and they could see him with the gun. Maybe he leaves the gun there, but we know he didn't leave a gun there. They're without an excuse. This is not a good perch. And not only that, but not only this, folks, what gunman in a million years do you know that would put himself right here where when you're looking at the point of view of this picture where this camera was facing, there's a couple of thousand people facing in this direction, staring directly at the shooter. Who the heck is going to put himself in that kind of visibility where now everybody is going to see him when he takes the shot? So like none of that even makes any sense at all. You have too many witnesses right here that are this close. You have not heard of any witnesses that came forward that said, yeah, I heard the shots ring out right over my head right there. No, that's definitely not the case. And in this picture here, you could do the same thing. You know, oh my God, there's muzzle flashes over here. Another one back over here. See that one? So all they have to do is just create enough doubt in somebody's mind to trick them. And so as we look at this picture again here, uh-oh. Man, do you guys see what I see? Oh no, look at this over here. I see 1, 2 muzzle flashes. Oh man, that means there's a second and a third gunman. Holy cow, people. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. There's more. There's another muzzle flash right there. Another one right there. That's 4. We got 5, 6 muzzle flashes at least. And if I could really stretch your imagination, there's 2 more possible muzzle flashes right there. And maybe even this one back over here. Yep. Those are very popular theories to espouse there as the muzzle flashes.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I know is that 100% Charlie was not shot from the front. It is very clear that he was shot from the side, most likely by this bush up here, this man in the bush, whatever you want to call him. It has been very clear to me, and it's so important to not let them silence your voice. For Charlie, for this country, really, for the Constitution, for everything that we stand for freedom.
Oh, thank you, Range Day Bro. That is so patriotic, so inspiring, so touching in dedication to Charlie Kirk. So the reality, folks, is I don't think this is really for Charlie. I mean, let's get real. If Charlie's widow, Erica, saw this video and all of these lies that were told, irrefutable lies, I think she would be very, very upset. So this wasn't for freedom. This wasn't for truth. This wasn't for Charlie. This wasn't for anybody. In fact, Charlie and his widow, Erica, were good friends with Dan Bongino, who's the deputy director of the FBI.
It is imperative that we continue to ask questions and seek the truth when we're so clearly being lied to. So,
wait a minute. Didn't he just get done saying he's not accusing anybody of anything?
And I'm not accusing anybody of anything when we're so clearly being lied to. So, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything when we're so clearly being lied to. So, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything when we're so clearly being lied to. So
you could see what I mean here when I say this guy talks out of both sides of his mouth here. So the best way to determine this is to look at another Charlie Kirk video. So here's mine, and this should give us a pretty good... So this was the video I did when the FBI released that now famous video of the shooter jumping down from the roof after committing the shooting. And of course, this is the real shooter, not the fake nonsense shooting that all of these other clowns are showing. I was angry at the cops for catching this guy too quick. They should have waited another 24 hours. I would have gotten more views on my video. So I released my video, and 6 hours later, the FBI announces, well, we caught the guy. You know, they arrested him. So now there's no more reason for anybody to come watch Jeff's video on where the shooter may have gone. So that's why you see it stalled out right here like this. With only 65,000 views, my video earned $332. So it's not like I'm going to Disney World on the earnings here, folks. It was very meager. Now you come back over here and you look at Range Bro's video, and you can see right now, as of press time, he's at 5.8 million views. So by the time you even see this video, he'll be up even higher. 12 hours ago when I looked at his video, it was only at 5.1 million. So he's still going nicely viral. Let me look, this guy knows what he's doing. Let me look at the professional looking background. The lighting is perfect here and everything, and makes it look mysterious. And this guy is... So here's how we determine how much money he's made so far. When you look at my video, and remember, it's on the same topic, and it's got a lower CPM rate than normal, usually half, because sensitive topics like this, they won't pay as much. There's not as much advertisers willing to advertise on a video like this. So you take the number of views I had, which is 65,000, multiply it by the RPM rate here, which is $5.19. We'll call it $5.20. When you multiply it out, it comes out to $338.06. So let's apply that to his video. So what I did here was I applied his views right here. And what you got to do is remember, it's cost per 1,000 views. That's what they call it, cost per mil. So it's 1,000 views. So you have to take the number of views and divide it by 1,000. And then you multiply it by that CPM rate. So here we're going to take his views divided by 1,000, which is 5.8 million, divided by 1,000. There it is, 5,816. And now you multiply that by the $5.20 rate that we're getting paid here for the CPM rate, and you come up with $30,000. So Range Day Bro has quite the bank day here, don't you think? $30,000 in basically just a couple of days here. And this is probably going to keep going for a few more days. This here, folks, at the end of the day, wasn't so much about him standing up with the truth and I'm the only one telling the truth and the FBI is wrong. And if you're believing this narrative, you're a fool, you're buying into the narrative, all that nonsense. What he's done here is he has packaged together a beautifully marketed video with several CTAs sprinkled through.
Check out our merch, all that good stuff.
So if you noticed how many times he sprinkled through here, please share this with everybody you know, before it gets taken down, before the algorithm squashes it. Buy my merch. This is the stuff that you always hear fake conspiracy people spread out like that. They're trying to create that urgency for you to share it and grow it and
check out our merch, all that good stuff.
Try to show you something that's new and make it look like they're the only one telling the truth and going against the grain and all of that nonsense. But all this was, and many of you fell for it, this was just a well-packaged and marketed video designed to bring in more clicks and to sell merchandise. Because as you can see, he sprinkled in these CTAs, which all of us influencers know, that's what they teach us, is to bring in these call to action, to keep telling people, like and subscribe, share this, do this. Sharing is more powerful for the algorithm, actually, by the way. So when he comes out and says, oh, the algorithm's going to squash it, that's a bunch of nonsense. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I don't even think he cares about that his credibility is ruined here, because virtually everything he showed here was a lie, and an easily verifiable lie as well.
False. And all I would ask is for you guys to share this video.
Hey, look, so in the words of Range Day Bro, you're free to buy into his narrative too, right? So anyway, Range Day Bro, congratulations on that well-executed video that drew in millions of viewers and likely generated some good coin and merchandise sales.
And all I would ask is for you guys to share this video, check out our merch, all that good stuff.
Now, a couple of people have asked me about the whole Jimmy Kimmel situation, and I have a lot more information about, what went on behind the scenes and everything, and what the real regulations really say about your First Amendment rights and all of that. So if you want to hear anything about that, let me know. Just let me know in the comments. I just want to see if there's enough demand for me to make a video on that, because I know everybody thinks it was Trump that did it. It had nothing to do with Trump. Also, if you haven't seen my last two really good videos on engineering disasters, make sure you check out this one from last week with the Champlain Towers condo collapse down in Miami, the latest update on that. And then over here, make sure you watch my latest video on the OceanGate Titan submersible. So those are two really great engineering videos. And keep those questions coming, folks. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see all of you on the next one.